Hey guys, it's here bringing you another video. So welcome to the extra video of the day. This is the champion pool video that I have been saying was coming for quite some time, but always near the end of the preseason, and we are now a few days away from the new season. So I thought it was about time that I made this video. So we're going to be going over what champion pool I'm going to be starting Season 8 with on my main account. This, by the way, takes in consideration personal preference of what I just think I want to play. Also how well I'm performing on them. If there's a champion that I love playing but I'm not performing well of, probably not going to be in the champion pool. That's to me how a ranked champion pool should be. If you're always asking the question, because feel free to put comments in down below and questions about champion pools and this type of thing, about building them. How many games does it take for you to judge whether you're good at a champion or not? It does depend who you are as a person. For me, probably about 5 games, whether I'll know if I play the champion or not. I'd say for the average person, maybe about 20. Just to kind of get, that basic knowledge of, is it for me? If it is, great, keep playing it. If it's no, I'm going to play something else. So the way we're going to be doing it is the first website we're on. Again, this is not sponsored. I'm not partnered with any of these websites. They're just good resources. op.gg, I'm pretty much sure 99% of you know what this is. But it's a website that you can just look at, like, your stats and match history and that type of thing. So we'll be looking at this. We'll also be looking at champion.gg. And basically, as I've said to you guys a lot, win rates don't mean that much, but consistency does. So if your win rate spikes and a champion just suddenly has become good, that to me is not a sign of it being good. That means it's good right now and probably is going to get nerfed. But if a champion has had a consistent win rate over the last few patches, to me that's valuable. So that's what we're going to be doing. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go top lane. And just to announce the roles that I'm going to be more maining in the upcoming season, most likely is going to be top and mid, with actually probably mid actually being the main role and top being the second. Jungle definitely as third, then AD carry, then support. I make a champion pool for every single role in League. I have champions in every single role, even support, which I recommend doing. The worst type of person, or one of the worst type of person to me in solo queue, is the guy that gets auto-filled and said they can't do it. To me, that's not an excuse. To me, if you're entering ranked, you have to be able to play everything. That's what makes a good ranked player to me. If you are only somebody that only plays one role, that to me, you're not a LoL player. You're not a ranked player. You're just whatever role you are, or, Again, I have a rather extreme point of view with that, and I know I do, but I'm used to the old system. And that's what a good League player was, is somebody that could play everything. So the thing that we're going to do is going to go straight into champions. And all their stats, by the way, are from preseason. So these are the games. In preseason, I've played 57 champions on my main account. I have played, obviously, on my other accounts as well. But this is what we're mainly going to be going off. Now, you can, if you really want to, and you haven't played much in preseason, you can technically go off what your Season 7 stats were. But the problem with that is they're not up to date. Is that you could have been really good with further Renekton, but Renekton right now kind of sucks with press the attack or whatever else you're going to take. So to me, the best stats you can use is your up-to-date preseason stats. So again, we're going to go top lane first. And I'll say I haven't played a crazy amount of top lane. I've been playing quite a lot of mid lane in preseason and actually more jungle. But the first, if you go down the list, the first one we see and come across is Jace. So we're currently 4 wins, 2 losses on Jay, 67% win rate. But again, win rate, not everything. You can turn a win rate around. It depends how you play. What is important to me is just how well I'm doing overall with combining the win rate. Again, it's one thing winning, but if you're doing well with winning, then it means you're having an impact. And overall, we've got a 3.1 KDA, 7.2 kills on average with 5 deaths, 7.8 assists. Averaging nearly that 200 CS mark, getting nearly 2 towers per game just by myself. Doing quite well just in the general stats here and there. So Jace is actually going to be the first top laner that is on board. Now, straight away, some people say, what about Jace mid? Are you going to play him mid? Probably not. Again, I've never really enjoyed Jace mid that much. It's kind of like, my old Gangplank. I never liked Gangplank mid. I've never loved Jace mid. To me, I like Jace in top lane. And people who watch my commentaries and have done for a while, you guys actually have said in the comments, it's like, you somehow always get fed. And this is a weird thing with me and Jace, is I don't know how. Sometimes I will lose lane and it sucks. And I think there was even an episode recently that we got battered in top lane as Jace. But then slowly the game went through and then ended up with like one of the most highest damage done on the team and with a positive KD and winning the game. It's like somehow me and Jace just click that I will always generally do well on this champion. It's very rare for me. I would say it's rare for me to feed in general, but it's rare for me I guess, to go from nothing to, like, really fed. So if I get fed, usually I get fed in the early game, but Jace is a champion that I can actually rely on getting fed throughout the game. So Jace is definitely there. Alawi is the next one. And Alawi is a weird one for me, because again, if you go off the stats, very similar to Jace for the most part. Less assists though, more deaths, but more farm, considerably more farm. We're averaging 242 farm per game. Not even a tower though, which isn't great. And I'm actually going to say no to Alawi. And again, this is where personal preference can come in, because if we go, and again, this is where we can combine these two different websites. Alawi. So, play win rate per patch. So again, this is where you can see if there's got some consistency and stuff. So, while ago, she had a below 50% win rate, but that was in 7.2, and 7.21, 7.22, which was old runes. Now with the rune system, she's doing pretty well, but you actually already can see there's going to be a slight dip, and a lot of people value her quite highly, that she's quite strong. Do I feel a nerf could come by? Potentially. You know, Klepto's quite strong with her. I potentially see them changing Klepto in the future, so I just don't think Alawi's future is 100% secured, and just personal preference, how I think it is to climb. I don't think she's amazing to climb, especially the higher ratings you go. She's probably a really good low rating champion because people don't know how to deal with her. But in high rating, people know how to deal with her. So I'm actually going to, right now, leave her. And maybe I'll play a few games on her in the new season. Maybe I'll rank to Diamond, get my drive for her again. But right now, we're actually going to give it a miss. Next one is the old Urgot. Now, this is a weird one because he is kind of similar to Jace. But one thing that I really like about Urgot, and the reason why he is going in my champion pool, is because when it comes to being a beefy frontline damage dealer, you've got, you know, Gnar, I guess Alawi, maybe Renekton, Nasus, etc. But none of these champions can do the exact same thing as Urgot. Urgot can be that frontline person. We've seen it in time and time again in videos. Urgots can build tanky and they're hard to kill. But Urgot does something more than all of those champions, and that is, if he lands his ultimate on somebody who's fed and they get their, you know, someone's health quite low, Urgot kills them 100%. Like, to me, that's really good for solo queue. And again, I don't think Urgot's great for competitive. I don't think he's good for tournaments. And this is where sometimes it differs. I think he's a good solo queue top laner. Because one, he's not bad when it comes to blind picking. So if you've got a blind pick, he's good. He's good versus most melee top laners. Yasuo, Renekton, whoever. He's pretty good against most of them. He scales well. He's really good and tanky. So you've got still, you're not missing out. If you go like Yasuo in top lane, then you don't have a tank. Urgot is still tanky. But then he can turn a whole game by landing a good ultimate and just, you know, killing them when they're at 30% health or whatever at max rank. That, to me, is game-changing, and that's why he is going in the champion pool, which some people will be a bit surprised about, because it wasn't that long ago that I was like, I don't rate him very highly. Again, I don't rate him at all for LCS. I don't think you'll ever see him in competitive, but I think for solo queue, he's actually underrated, and I think he's quite good. Next one, so Ornn. See, Ornn is a champion, and again, if you've never watched one of these champion pool videos, sometimes I will have a champion in mind, but I won't add them to the list because they're really easy to play, so there's just no point me having them even in the list, because it's like, anybody can play Ornn. So he is going to be technically in my champion pool if it makes sense to play Ornn in the new season, and I'm like, right, I can pick him, but I don't need to put him in the list. He's one of the easiest champions in League to play, you know, after probably a couple games of practice, and I've already had that. So he's technically in, but I'm not even going to add him to the list. Now we actually move into the territory of, like, champions that I played a little bit less. So you've got the Gangplank there, and I will say, unfortunately for some people, he's not going to be in my champion pool at the beginning of the season. He may come around eventually. I just, one, don't feel very confident in my own Gangplank. You know, a champion that is Gangplank has to be consistent. You have to play a lot of them to get good at them. And I don't feel like I'm going to put a lot of time into him to get good enough to climb and do well with him, because he's a very hit or miss champion. Like, you'll either get really fed, do the most damage, or you'll probably feed like crazy because you have a really weak early game. So to me, I'm going to skip him for now, and maybe in the future he may come back. Next one is Shen. So again, we only played 3 games. Again, win rate, don't let that put you off. It's only 3 games, 2 losses, 1 win. You know, you never know. One of those games could be an Inter, an AFK, so it kind of messes with the win rate. It's not that important. Shen's a weird one for me, because again, Shen is relatively easy. What I like about Shen, even more so than Ornn, is because you have more, and I'm going to say the words, split push potential when it actually makes sense. So, like, I've seen Ornns or any top laner go and split push when it's like, oh god, they should just group. Especially something like an Ornn, that his ultimate is so goddamn good in team fights. Where Shen, it pretty much makes sense most of the time to split push, because your ultimate brings you to the fight. And even if you get cancelled, you're still giving someone a shield, and he's not bad at 1v1ing people. I have seen different variations of Shen in this preseason that are winning lane relatively easily. They run press the attack and start Doran's Blade, and they're killing people. So, Shen is actually going to go in my champion pool. Would I recommend to the average player Shen? Honestly, no. The reason why, I would play Shen if you're in Diamond. Plus, I wouldn't play, like, in Unranked to Diamond, you're not going to see Shen. He's a terrible low rating champion, because what you have to imagine is it's not just you that may have a bit slower reaction time and not, you know, decision making, when to ult, when to teleport, whatever. Your teammates as well. Your teammates don't know how to play with a Shen properly. They may back out when you're teleporting in. You're like, no, I need to go in. Like, you don't know. That still happens in Diamond, by the way. So I would just stay clear of him generally. Next champion. So we actually have a couple more in a row here. We'll end top lane pretty soon though, because again, it's going to be my second/third role. Gnar. I'm going to have Gnar as a pretty much yes, but he's a champion that, again, very easy to play. I don't need to put him in. The same goes for Aurelia. So my top 3 top laners right now is going to be Jace, Urgot, and Shen. Potentially what I may look to do is get an AP champion in there, like Kennen or Kayle or something. Maybe I'll actually put Kayle in now that I think of it, because just in case you've got, you know, a Zed mid lane, a Kayn jungle, then it's like, well, we don't have any AP damage, so that might be a good idea to do. So actually, yeah, what I'm going to do, because Kayle's right here, and I've had fun playing her this preseason, we're going to put Kayle in, just there. And that one, I will say, that's going to be like a maybe. Again, sometimes it is a maybe. And down the line, I may change that. I might pick a different AP top laner. But again, it's good to have variance. If you look at that Jace, Urgot, Shen, all are AD damage / tank. And I don't have an AP power that if just in case my team need it. Even if, like, you have Zed mid lane and a tank jungler, still you don't have a lot of AP damage on your team. So going Kayle would probably help. And she's amazing late game. Again, our stats on her, honestly pretty good. Again, the win rate, don't let that put you off. But the win rate, stats, a lot of assists, 3.1 KDA, 160 farm, that could probably be more. But we're killing 1.6 towers ourselves on average per game. So overall, not bad. She's going to be in the champion pool. But yeah, then Gnar, he'll kind of be there. Aurelia, she'll maybe be there. Because again, both of them are just very easy to play. I don't need to practice on them that much. And by the way, Aurelia's getting changed anyway. I probably, if Aurelia wasn't getting a rework, she'd probably be in the list. But I'm not putting her in the list because she's apparently getting a rework. So there you go. And I will say, as looking to the future of champions that I'm keeping my eye on when it comes to top lane, Camille is actually a big one. Camille, I think, is one of the best... Yeah, I'd probably say the best carry top laners in the game right now for solo queue. She has great 1v1. She does true damage. So if anybody else on your team is feeding, well, you still do true damage if they build resistances with your double Q. And you've got great mobility. You lock people down so you can just jump on the AD carry. And if you're fed, you'll probably kill them. So I think Camille is very good. And I am definitely keeping my eye whether... Sorry, I've got something in my eye apparently. I am keeping my eye on her... in the next few weeks, and she may be added. Again, a lot of people say how many champions per role. It depends who you are as a person. Some people will do 2, some people do 3, some people do 10. I generally just do as many as I feel comfortable to do so, because if you look right now at that top lane champion pool, so the way to go about it, Jace is my AD carry champion for top lane. Urgot is if I have to blind pick, I don't know who I'm against, or you want a bit of a beefier front line that still does damage. Shen, my pure tank option. If my team needs a tank and like, yo, can you pick tank? We've got an assassin jungle, a squishy mid laner, boom, Shen. Kayle is now my AP carry. So those are my 4, and we've got other champions that I potentially could fit in who just aren't that hard to play. Let's now move on to jungle. So let's scroll back up to the list. So we have been playing a decent amount of jungle, or more so than we used to, I'd say. And there are 2 champions that you can just 100% know are going in my champion pool. I am still learning. I am still learning the ropes on these champions. But Warwick and Shyvana, I actually am finding quite fun. A lot of people probably are like, Huzz, don't they kind of fit into the run at people champions that you dislike? Yes and no. Again, I think there's a massive difference if you try to compare like Udyr or Volibear to Warwick or Shyvana. One, they're just pure strength. Like Udyr, I will say, does have a lot of 1v1 strength, but Warwick and Shyvana has great 1v1 strength, but they have jumps and leaps to get places that these other running champions don't. Very much like I like Hecarim because of his ultimate. They're very powerful. They can carry games by themselves. They can take over a game, especially Warwick with his sustain doesn't really have to go back. So they are definitely going to be in the champion pool for the beginning because I've just been playing with them. I've been doing well. Again, win rate isn't everything, but if you look at stats, 2.5 KD, 2.8 KD, just generally doing really well on them. So that, to me, that's more than enough to play them. And then other junglers, I'll be honest, I haven't played that many. Like, there's a little bit of Lee Sin, but not performing that well. Rengar, 3 losses without performing well. I tried to pick up Kayn, didn't do well. So you can see I was trying to experiment. I was like, I don't know, what else I can do. So I didn't really play that much more. I played 1 Hecarim game. I think that's about it for jungle. Like, again, I've maybe 1 Graves game. So jungle is definitely a role that I'm going to have to look to do more in. More, like, research and what champions I can play. Like, if you look right now... if you go, well, I guess we'll just do this. You've got the Evelyn that, she's on the fence because, again, I don't have an AP jungler, but I'm not going to add them to the list because I haven't played them yet. But Evelyn's quite strong, so maybe I'll look to practice Evelyn over the next couple of days for my AP jungler. Admittedly, Shyvana does do quite a lot of AP damage, but there's the Shyvana. Kha'Zix... Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I do like my Kha'Zix, but if I were to play Kha'Zix, I may as well just go Kayn, because I think Kayn's actually a little bit more fun, but my Kayn isn't that good. I'd have to put more time into him. My Lee Sin, again, Lee Sin's always generally around for me, and he probably, I will say for the people that have watched the channel a while and like that I used to play Lee and was pretty damn good with him at one stage, or more than one stage, but he probably will come back in Season 8. The more that I play League, the more that I'll probably want to do more mechanical stuff. And Lee Sin, to me, is just so much fun when you're on point with mechanics. So what I'm going to do, to make people happy, I'm going to put in brackets Lee Sin, basically as a promise that he is going to be coming back pretty damn soon. Also, I just noticed that cut that off, so we'll do that. So yeah, Lee Sin will be back, I promise. And then basically, we'll just do question mark, AP jungler. So whether that's going to be Evelyn, whether it's going to be Elise, but Elise isn't crazy strong right now, we'll definitely find an AP jungler to kind of fit in. Because, when it comes to, like, oh, you don't really have a carry jungler there. Well, again, forget about Lee Sin for now, but Warwick and Shyvana both are tanks and carriers, in my opinion. They do both. That's why I like both of them so much. So I don't need, like, a squishy carry jungler, in my opinion, because I've got them. Let's move on to mid lane, though. So we've been playing a lot of mid lane, and I don't think there's going to be much surprise of what champions I'm going to be playing. You can see some very good performances on, some champions here. So Veigar, nearly a 3 KDA. Again, win rate combining with KDA is showing that you're doing quite well overall, so that's good. Xerath, even better, 4.4 KDA with a better win rate. Karthus is on the fence about me, because, again, the problem with Karthus is he's... these champions take a while to ramp up. He takes even longer to ramp up. So what I'm probably going to do is right now, just straight away, add Veigar and Xerath. So some people will be happy with Xerath's back. I'm going to leave Karthus for now. He's on the fence about me. I can always pick him up if I want to. But to me, these two, Veigar and Xerath, kind of fulfill the relatively same job. And I'm just doing better with them right now. Ziggs, again, some people are disappointed. I haven't performed that well on Ziggs. I don't think he's that strong at the moment. He may come down the line. My Zoe's actually been doing fine, but I don't see Zoe being able to be picked a lot. Again, sometimes in a champion pool video, I've done stuff like I did earlier, so I don't need to put them in the list. Sometimes it's not worth putting them in the list if you just think they're going to get permabanned. So it's like, I'm not going to put Zoe in the list because I don't expect to play her. But maybe if she's open every now and then, I'll play her just for the fun of it. So there's that. There is Steve. Steve's a potential, but the problem with Steve is, again, when you're looking at variety in champion pool, I guess you can put yourself in a corner. You're like, I'm a AP mage player that plays ranged champions. I don't like putting myself into a box like that. So if I had Veigar, Xerath, and Vel'Koz or Steve, they all do the same thing. If my team needs something different, and that's my champion pool, it's like, well, I don't do anything different. All my champions do the same thing. So we're actually going to leave Steve for now, but I will still probably play the occasional game on him, I'm going to be honest. And then anything else that I'm kind of looking at. And Nivea, she's a potential, but I think I'd have to play more of. My 2 Orianna games went really bad. Again, it can't put me off completely, but only, 2 games is nothing. See, something like Katarina is something that my champion pool probably needs. But again, I'm not that confident to play her a lot. In the 1 game that we played her, we did really well. But she's potentially a champion that I'd have to practice more and then maybe look to put her in the champion pool. So maybe to those watching, you're like, oh, Huz might play her down the line. And that's the point. I might play her down the line. Again, there's Zed, there's Fizz. If I be honest, I think I need one of these champions. So when it comes to champion pool, champion variety, if my team is, you're talking like a Nasus top lane, a scaling jungler, you've got a Vayne in the bot lane, you're kind of thinking, my team does nothing in the early game. What happens if we get behind in the early game? And this is where a champion in mid lane that does well in the early game is useful. So like Katarina can easily kill people in 1v1s at level 2, level 3. Zed is relatively good if you're good at him in the early game. So I think I need something like this that can kind of carry the early. So what I'm actually going to do, I did say I wasn't going to put it on the list, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Question mark. So I'm going to put her in because, again, I love playing Katarina. I just haven't put a lot of time into her. But it's kind of what I feel my mid lane pool needs. I think I need something that kind of carries from straight away. And now, definitely, another weakness we have in my champion pool is lack of AD champions. So, an AD assassin, an AD carry. Again, you guys know I'm not a massive fan of AD carries, especially if it's like Lucian or something mid. Corki is not that bad because he has more survivability and he does mixed damage. But I still probably wouldn't pick that up. So, I'm going to probably think about it because, again, my options for mid lane is like Zed and Zed and Gangplank, I guess, but I've never liked Gangplank mid. So I guess Jace, but I've never liked him mid. So I don't know if I'm going to have an AD equivalent in mid lane, but I will say it's very rare for you to kind of care if you have to have an AD mid, because you always have an AD carry. Like, again, it's a bit different if you don't have any AP damage, because, like, it's very easy to not have any AP. You have a Leona support with a Xayah, a Kayn in the jungle with a Zed mid lane, and then your top lane, you're kind of like, oh, I need to go AP. That doesn't really happen the opposite. You always have AD damage because you always have an AD carry. So it's not that big of a deal comparing to the other way around. Okay, so that is the bulk of my champion pool for now. AD carry and support. So I don't know how much I played on either of these roles, but again, Misfortune has always been a champion that I've played a decent amount of. I don't know how good she is at the moment, though. So if we kind of have a little look of how good she is... again, okay, so not good. So again, like I said to you guys, win rate isn't everything. But what you do is you read the data and what it's telling you. Really good, and now she's on the decline. So that means Riot noticed that she was probably a bit too strong and is now trying to bring her down a couple levels. So I might still play her because I already know how to pick Misfortune. But this is where you've got to be careful if you're picking up a new champion. If you're trying to pick up a new champion and you're already seeing its decline, that's probably not the best idea for picking it up, because it means Riot potentially is nerfing it while you're trying to pick it up. Not a great combo. But I still might have her in my champion pool. But to me, I probably would have... like Ezreal, yeah, okay, so I will say just straight away, Ezreal is probably going to go in there, because one, I enjoy playing him. Again, personal preference has to be very important when you're picking stuff. It's a video game, you're supposed to have fun. But also, he's very mage-like, so he's very like Xerath and stuff like that. He just has to auto-attack more, so he kind of helps me in that regard. Next one's going to be Xayah. I just like playing Xayah. I've only played her once on this account in preseason, but I had a really fun time doing it. And that, yeah, that's all the info. That's all I need to kind of say about it, because it's just fun. And you can see we had one Triss game, one Vayne game, one Caitlyn game, and honestly, I'm gonna probably leave it at that for now. Again, the chances of me playing AD carry is low anyway, so having 2 champions in this role to me is okay. Again, a lot of AD carries are kind of similar to each other, and again, as long as you're being smart about what you're picking, don't go, I'm going to randomly play Draven. It's like, don't do that. Be smart about it, and yeah, you can pretty much play any of them as long as you're being smart. And now we go into the final role, support. Again, I don't even know if I played that much support in preseason, I'm going to be honest. So we have Leona, who I've always enjoyed, and she's pretty strong at the moment, so we'll do that. Morgana, I actually played as mid lane, not support. But I think I know which 2 are going to make up for the rest of mine. And I actually haven't... Oh, no, I played it once. 213, 18, 1.5 KD. Yeah. Alistair's always been a good pick of mine. So that's 2 tank supports, protect supports. Now we need a different variant. I need a carry support. So if you've got a tank jungler and a tank top laner, you may as well go a damage support half the time. But it's just which one. And I think I'm going to go Brand. Again, I don't know if I played much Brand at all. But again, this is where you look at preseason stuff. But also, you just use your knowledge from champions that you know you've played a lot of. Like, where's my Brand in Season 7? Did I? I probably didn't play... Maybe it was the season before. Yeah, it must have been the season before that I played Brand. Maybe. Or maybe it was oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. I've always enjoyed Brand. So we're going to put Brand in for my carry support. I would say this is where Steve also could fit in. Vel'Koz. It could be either of those 2 champs. But for now, I'm going to put Brand. But that is it. That is my champion pool. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed my, discussion about it. A little bit why. I think it's pretty well balanced. Like top lane, I've got everything that I basically need. Jungle... I need to find the AP jungler, then I've got everything covered. Mid lane, I don't need an AD mid laner because you always have AD damage. I don't enjoy them that much. Like, I do enjoy Zed, don't get me wrong, but you need to put a lot of time into him to do well. And I'm going to practice Katarina over the next couple of days, so you'll probably see a Katarina commentary in the next few. And then AD carry and support, they're more basic champions that I just enjoy playing because I'm not going to get them roles very often, so I don't need to put that much thought into it other than have fun. But that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, throw a like on it. If you've got any questions about champion pools or anything, throw them in the comments. If you want to throw your champion pool in the comments, feel free to do so. And maybe I and a couple other people can chip in and say if it's balanced, what would they recommend, stuff like that. So anyway, if you guys did enjoy, throw a like on it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.